Hello everyone, it is me, MrSneakyy, and welcome to my Gwanwyn talent page and hero guide. Everything you need to know about talents, artifacts, skills, and pairings, so stay tuned for more. Hello everyone, it is me, MrSneakyy, and yes, we are going over Gwanwyn, the Arrow of the Wind, the Spring Warden starter hero for you guys. So if you enjoy any hero guides, any talent pages, everything you need to know about heroes, subscribe, like, and comment to the channel. I've got over 200 videos for Call of Dragons, and I am now an official content creator for the game. So if you want to support the channel, just hit the subscribe button, guys. It's nice and easy to do and free. So in the video today, we are going to be going over everything you need to know about Gwanwyn. This is the talent pages between the precision and marksman. This is also the skills, the artifacts, and finally the pairings, right? So why should you obviously use Gwanwyn? People probably wonder, is she worth using? And the answer is yes, she is. She is a phenomenal hero in the game. She's arguably one of the best, if not the best, free-to-play pick for raiding. If you're liking raids and you want to just kill behemoths every season and you just enjoy the PvE side of the game, Gwanwyn is the perfect choice for you to do that, because she is the best, honestly the best free-to-play pick for killing raids, and we're going to go over everything why. So first, let's go over her skill. She obviously has 4 and her additional skill on her 5th. So her skill 1 is a 1000 rage cost, and it is at medium attack range, which is the standard for archers. The way this works is you target a single enemy and then you deal 200, 200, and then 400 in that target, point. So that's over 800 damage dealt to that target, but obviously it's staggered between a damage over a time effect, or because it's successive hits. So this is almost like how a DPS in League of Legends, or even any sort of DPS role in MMO games like a hunter, right? These guys all try to deal consistent base damage compared to a mage that deals big bursts of damage, right? And AoE damage. So this is the characteristic you need to remember when you're playing Gwanwyn. She is an excellent archer and she's excellent at single target DPS. Her skill 2 is a standard 15% buff to any damage to darklings and dark creatures. This is standard, this is okay. It helps you get through the early game, and it helps you level up your Gwanwyn over time into that hero that you're gonna want her to get to, right? So now we get to her skill 3. Skill 3 is what I think is one of the best things about her, to be honest, is a 10% march speed bonus and a 15% attack damage bonus. The reason why this is such a good actual skill for Gwanwyn is marksmen need march speed in order to get in and out of fights, because in PvP you'll notice, and as well as in raids, you need march speed to either dodge mechanics or to get away from chasers, to reposition yourself. So march speed is a very important buff to have. 15% attack is no joke either. 15% attack, it means you're dealing more damage in your first skill, as well as your white attacks, as well as your other normal attack damage dealt, as well as your additional skill here. This also gets benefited by your physical attacks because it's physical damage. So when you look at the additional skill, which is a really great skill to have, it gives your normal attacks a 50% chance to deal an additional 100 damage to a target. It's on a 3-second cooldown, which is cool. But the reason why everything meshes so well now with Gwanwyn, the creme of the creme, the cherry on the cake, is the fact that her 4th skill just gives her naturally a 10% damage increase to everything. It's just 10% extra damage. This counts to your normal, this counts to your counter attack damage, this counts to your skill damage, this counts to everything so far in the game that we've seen. It does do an absurd amount of damage with her skill 1, as well as the poison damage and her talents, right? So that is all of the skills that you need. I'll do a quick little brief overview there, as you can see. If you want to pause, just pause the video and you can just, reread any of these skills on screen. But those are the skills for Gwanwyn. The reason why you need to use Gwanwyn realistically, again, is for that PvE scenarios. The reason why is if you're looking at artifact choice, at the moment I've just got Viola's bow on. This is just the one artifact if you're looking to PvP with her. This is the artifact you always want realistically equipped. It deals an absurd amount of damage, as you can see there in the footage. It was a 3200 base factor, but the cool thing is it is a 10-second delay on your opponent's artifact. So in PvP, this is an all-star. It does so much work in murder balls. It allows you to delay your opponent, like I say, from maybe activating their time bombs or phoenix eyes, dragon scale armor, all these game-changing scenario artifacts. You're able to delay that and possibly win the fight for your team. But if you're looking for raids only, the raiding artifact and also another good PvP choice is Shadow Blades. This does deal the most amount of single target damage for your choice, in all of your artifacts when you're in a raid. It does 3600 at max as well. It does also give you a mass amount of maximum attack and legion attack, which is what you're going to want when you're dealing damage to the raid boss or the behemoths, right? So if you don't have Shadow Blades and you don't have Viola's bow, I would not recommend using the Heart of Kamasi. This is more of a gimmick, I would say. It's a really good, interesting artifact maybe later on when there's maybe 2 or 3 marchers you can use, where you can have multiple archer marchers on the field. Then this might get really interesting, right? But for now, I would stay clear of Heart of Kamasi. But we have some epics to talk about, and the epic artifacts of choice for me is always going to be Heart Piercer. This gives you a massive nuke on the target as well as a 15% defense break. A really good choice to have if you want to try and defense break the behemoth. A good, again, because it gives you maximum attack and legion attack, to the stats that you want to deal as much damage in a raid, right? And as you can keep saying, I'm emphasizing raid because that's where Gwanwyn does honestly shine, guys. She's the greatest free-to-play pick for that. But if you don't have Heart Piercer, the one thing you do start with, Bomb Flinger, is surprisingly really strong as well. You get maximum attack again. You don't get to stun the behemoth, but you get a 2400 damage nuke. So this is just as strong as Heart Piercer. It's just, it does a nuts amount of damage, but you don't get the stun. But you do, if you choose Heart Piercer, get that defense break, right? So you can choose, do you want to do a little bit less damage and get a defense break? Or do you want to have a maxed out Bombs Away, which does 400 more damage, but you don't get that defense break, right? So those are the artifacts of choice there, guys. And before we get into the pairings, and you've enjoyed the video so far, remember, guys, hit the like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Call of Dragons content by me, MrSneakyy, right here. So now let's go over everything you're going to need to know about pairings. Pairings are quite, I wouldn't say straightforward. You have a few options to go for. We'll start with the free-to-players first, and then obviously as you progress through the game, you're going to have more options, and if you're a spender, obviously those options are available to you soon, alright? So if you're at the bare minimal, you have nothing, right, and you're looking for some combos, the earliest Gwanwyn combo is with Craig. Gwanwyn Craig does an amazing job together because Craig's first, second, and third skill are amazing skills that you can max 1, 2, and 3 in that order. And by doing so, you're going to gain a mass amounts of skill damage, some great skill damage bonus, and some attack bonus for your Archer March. When you do eventually expertise Craig, your expertise skill does increase your skill 1. It goes from this 600 puny little AoE to an 800 AoE damage factor that also applies a 300 bleed effect to nearby, you know, legions. So this is a great skill to pair with Gwanwyn. Obviously the bleed effect is really good for Gwanwyn as well, because it is a 10% increase with her, and when you're bringing this in PvP or when you're raiding, which is obviously where I keep telling you to run her, you do get so much free damage with it, and you will be surprised how many top 10 you will get if you do use this combo. But obviously now we're looking at other options. The other options, and this is the only other one I would recommend for bare minimum. This is if you have nothing but one girl that's always got everyone's aid. Elena or Eleanor, whichever you want to pronounce her name. She is honestly a really good supportive commander to every commander in the game. The reason why, she always provides that match. Whoever she goes with is always protected with defense reduction, defense, healing, and a small shield. This little bit of damage is okay, but it's the fact that she can make any match inherently a lot tankier than they should be, and that's a really good thing to do. If you're a free-to-play player and you're struggling with PvP and you're dying a lot, you'll be surprised how well and a maxed out Elena does for you and how quick you can obtain her, especially as a free-to-play player. But now let's go into the real combos now, and there's obviously a free to go with. The third one I'm going to mention is Gwanwyn with Husk. Gwanwyn and Husk is a great combo, again, because you're trying to increase the normal attack bonus, the damage dealt bonus. Also over here you get maximum capacity. You also get a normal attack damage bonus when they are set as the deputy, which is what you want him to be set as. And finally, you do get, if you have him expertise as a whale, you know, big boy spender, you get a normal attack crit rate buff, which is amazing for Gwanwyn, and it is a great again top 3 combo for raiding, and a really good top 3 raiding PvP combo again for Gwanwyn to run if you do have a Husk. But when you don't have Husk, you have two other options. Kanara is a very good for PvP. This is a way to make your match tankier, because Kanara gives you damage reduction. She also gives you that massive attack bonus, and she gives you that counter attack damage bonus, which is a really key stat to gain on a match. It means people don't want to hit you because they're taking more damage every time they hit you. So this is a really good way to make your Gwanwyn feel a bit more protected. She's a bit more of a tankier commander, or hero should I say, for Kanara. But when we're looking at the number 1 raid pairing, and I would say the number 1 pairing for Gwanwyn, it is the boy Nico, the young halfling ginger afro himself. Oh my lord, the guy is so good with Gwanwyn, increasing the defense reduction and the damage dealt with 10% is just obscene in a raid. As well, in a raid you're gaining this nice attack bonus. As well, in here you're gaining a mass amounts of normal attack. This combos with Gwanwyn beautifully when we do talk about her talents. So this is why Nico and Gwanwyn do work perfectly together. It is because of the talents as well as the combination of their kits together. That's why you do see Gwanwyn Nico or Nico Gwanwyn always on the battlefield, or always in a raid together. But that is all the pairings that you're going to need for the Gwanwyn. We've covered everything you need to know about the skills. We've covered everything to do with the artifacts and pairings. And now let's get on to the in-depth analysis and nasty gritty part, that is the talent pages, guys. Hello, so yes, we're going over the talent pages right now. The thing to do with talent pages before we get into it, and it's a really big tip for all those guys that are still starting out and learning about the game, your level is very important. So when you're at level 11 is going to unlock your center keystone, okay guys? But level 43 is the level you're going to be aiming for to complete your first tree of the build. And after that, the next 17 points is up to you. We're going to talk about each of those 17 points afterwards in each of the builds. But let's get into those talent pages, right? So right here is the talent page of choice for me at the moment. This is my raid DPS build. As you can see, we always have the exact same foundational talents. If you look on any of my heroes in the future, even in the past, I always go 3, 3, and 3. This is just the way I always have it in my head. I always want movement speed and I always want health whenever I can get it, and for free I can get it there. So we get a level to 11, and from level 11 we have arrows of precision. So now you're going to start working towards this end stone, which is your mark of war, and obviously, like I said, you're gonna get this by level 43. So let's go through your first 16 levels after, right? So you're level 11, now you're leveling up another 16 times. You're gonna be at level 27 with a bit of quick maths in my head. So we go 5 points into overall attack, 5 points into adrenaline rush, 5 points into strengthened weaponry, and then the last point into whirlwind, and this is to give us that nice bit of damage to complete the kit and to give us more consistency and more chances of launching normal attacks that will deal skill damage with this build, right? The reason in the first section we don't take egoism or all conquering or last word is because when in a raid and you're against a behemoth, you always never want to take damage, and by never taking damage you're never going to be triggering any of these talents. And because you're really good and learning all these, you know, mechanics of these behemoth raids, hopefully by watching my content, you're gonna be able to actually ignore these 3 talents and focus solely on the payload, which is DPS, and that is your role in the raid. So now we're at level 27 and we're moving now up to 46 where we're at now to get to here, or 43 should I say, to get to where we're at now. And the next 5 points go into cool under pressure. We have the normal attack combo of intrepid and unstoppable, and for raids the best keystone in the game, and this is also available for some mages, but it's named the caged animal. But for archers, it's named Mark of War. And this gives you a massive amount of attack percentage increase, all the way up to 3% every 10 seconds. To put it in perspective, the first minute, this is going to be at 3%. And for the next 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes of the fight, you're at 3% extra damage throughout the fight, meaning you're going to be out DPSing more than you should be doing, because obviously this is a buff that they maybe expected not to last as long, or maybe they hoped people would choose it for raids, right? So this is the first page, as you can see right here. I'm going to go over the next points, which is the last 17 points in this page right now. So if you've got to this stage like me and you're looking at how to get to 60 and the next, you know, points to put in this tree, the next 5 points for me I put into irrepressible. This means you're negating more defense of the enemy, which is perfect because it goes with your arrows of precision. And then next I put 5 points into fragility, increasing your normal attacks you deal to the target after you've casted your rage skill. Again, your rage skill is going to hit them massively, and then you get fragility trigger on the behemoth, which allows your normal attacks now to fill the gap, you know, to fill the time when you're waiting for the next rage cycle, right? And then with your next 5 points, you would put 5 points into high spirits. Let's finish off and get all the rage we can in the precision tree, and it gives us the little bit of rage we did lack, and you'll realize you were lacking the rage but the damage was there still. But now with this extra bit of rage, now it kicks the whole build into overdrive, and you have 2 points left over now, and this is up to you. This is your flexible choice. You can put 2 points into dedication if you feel like you do struggle with some of the mechanics and you take a little bit of damage. Go for dedication. You'll heal over time some of your troop count back, and hopefully you heal enough so you can get the healing stone in the raid to heal your march back up full. But if you're confident that you don't need that 2 points in the healing, putting 2 points into Force of Will is a great choice, or even putting 2 points into overall speed. Giving yourself 4% march speed increase in a raid is very great, since when you're doing stuff like the Necro Giant or even the Dire Bear where it charges at you, you're able to dodge those red zones and get out of the way and dodge the mechanics for those bosses, right? So that is the raid PvP build. I have also, guys, got a full video on this build specifically for this one build. So if you want to look for that, I'll put a card somewhere on the screen for you guys to click on. You can watch that and that will give you the full video. And that video will show you the gameplay as well as the reports of the build, as well as you'll see the full 60 points as well. So if you're struggling to understand where I'm saying these last points go, at least that video might steer in the right direction, right? So let's say you don't want a PvE build, right? This is the raid build for bosses. Let's talk about PvP. Let's talk about the open field that we all love, right? So let's go. We've got two builds. They're very similar. One's rage and one's all about normal attacks. This is the rage build. This is the build I generally use on her, or if I use it on Nico. You'll see this exact same page pretty much on Nico at the moment. The way this works is, again, you get a normal attack to get as much rage as possible, to then nuke your opponent with more skill damage with the combination of shower of blows. In open field, having health is king, so obviously with this is a nice little bit of boost of stats to survive on, and you get a nice bit of delight here, with no pun intended, giving you a bit more of that rage accumulation speed that you do need in the open field. With your last 5 points, you can choose here where you want to go. 5 points in Harvest is perfectly fine. This is the aggressive way to play archers, and if you don't feel like you want to play the aggressive way, you can put 5 points into Last Word. And finishing off the PvP rage build, you will put your last point into Burst Shot. And then the final 17 points is really easy when you're in the PvP side. You just put 5 points into overall attack, 5 points into Adrenaline Rush, and then up to you. You can put 5 points into Strengthened Weaponry, or you can put 5 points into Last Word, finishing off the build with Whirlwind, and the last point finally in this Initial Intuition, giving you 2% chance to remove a debuff with normal attacks. Absolutely amazing keystone to have. And now we'll go to the auto attack build. Pretty much looks identical, apart from, since we're going for normal attacks, we're probably going to be taking a little bit more damage, since we're not rage generating as much, since we do not have high spirits here. So we're going 5 points into marksman, 5 points into fully loaded to give you that big punching power with normal attacks. You're going to go alert to take less damage, and there's a reason behind this and the reason why this build works, and I'll explain it at the end. Bullseye gives you some great damage to have when you're fighting in and out of fights, and then again the combination straight up here for Last Word giving you that white damage, and Pursuit to give you some rage skill synergy, putting a fragility on your target, making sure your normal attacks deal more damage to them. The same thing again, you'd put 5 points into overall attack, 5 points into Adrenaline Rush, and this time I would definitely put 5 points into Last Word to combo with this Last Word up here. And we finish off with the Invincible. When you're launching a normal attack, you're gaining Onslaught, increasing your normal attack damage dealt. Finishing with your last point into the Initial Intuition. Simple, really, build. This build is for auto attacking only. It's really good if you're in cities and you just want to hop in and out of cities and you just want to get some quick damage. It's also good if you're able to do so, and say you kill someone and you hop out of a city and then you continue to fight. This build's really good because if you continue to fight, you're going to trigger your rage skill, which means your pursuit's going to do even more damage. But for general fighting and overall PvP, this build right here with the 5 points here, 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 and here, or should I say in here in Whirlwind, you're gonna have a better chance at killing enemies because you're using your rage cycling to your maximum advantage. And the reason why I have my current setup like this is because obviously, as you guys know, talent pages are very costly to switch. So if I wanted to switch, it's over 1,000 gems to do. So for me, Gwanwyn, I have set up as my raid DPSer. So she is set up so anytime I go into a raid, she's the primary commander. But for Nico, I run the PvP rage build, as you can see. Instead, I do have last word because I do want that defensive part. But now I'm working on this side, and I will be doing the 5, 5, 5, and the last point here and here to finish off the PvP build. But as you can see, my Nico has the other build that I showed you on screen. Obviously, I'm going to be doing a different build and guide for Nico in the future, but that is everything you're going to need to know for the Gwanwyn, guys. Everything you're going to need to know for Gwanwyn. That is your skills, that is your talents, that is your artifacts, that's your pairings, that even where to use her, and that is generally in raids. She's still good in the open field, don't get me wrong, but in raids, honestly, you're going to be so surprised how much damage she can deal out and how fun she is to use. So if you enjoyed the video, guys, and you thought it was very informative, remember, smash a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I am now officially an apprentice and an official content creator for Call of Dragons here at the moment. So I hope you guys do support the channel and help us grow and give more and more informative content to you guys. So until the next video, guys, stay safe, stay sneaky, and peace out.